All right, guys, let me change the... Let's change the title here. All right. Are you guys ready? Okay. Did he get pretty buff? Yeah, he's pretty... I've never thought of him as a chubby person, but he's definitely not chubby right now.
Wandering L3AF
Leave, thank you for the bits.
X100. Hi, my name is Brickyard. AMD, let me introduce you to hell.
This isn't gonna be hell. By the way, guys, when looking through this, I am definitely gonna be watching... I am almost certainly gonna be watching this mouthwashing. How mouthwashing perfected psychological horror? Yeah, I fucking think so. But anyway, let's get started, okay? So, I've never seen this video before, and I know, like,
necessarily serve the omniscient.
this is too quiet. I don't know anything about it, except, like, a little bit. The Emperor stuff. Okay, get your wine. Let's go.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky.
I saw Bricky's panties there for a second, not gonna lie.
And this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need two hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40K race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, but mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see.
So the races are like the most important part, is my assumption, because everyone told me this is the thing. So okay, this is the video for understanding Warhammer. We're explaining the races independently, and I guess you understand the world through it. The factions, you can say. Okay, so it's not just race-based.
See, Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about.
So my guess, this is my guess, factions are religious, but perhaps not entirely ethnocentric. Maybe based on specific empires? Not always, but sometimes? No. Can be. So a faction, I'm trying to figure out what separates them. What makes something a faction? I guess he'll explain this. But we definitely have, like, groups of people. Depends on what race faction you're talking about. They all have their motives, some are ideological, but most are fighting for a mix of survival and conquest. All right, I know a lot about conquest.
And what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated, but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40K universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you were curious about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Oh, boo!
Okay, I think I know a little bit about the Imperium of Man. I'm just gonna check really quick. Every time I click on and off of this, is it gonna flicker? Because that sucks. This is the Imperium of Man, which is the Emperor. I know about the human Emperor. From his DNA, he was like a. He has like he makes the genetically altered superhumans.
Ooh.
What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000. The 41st millennium, that's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000.
When his usage of AD here is fascinating for me because is this our universe? There's no way. This just takes place 38,000 years in the future. It is? It's not a fantasy universe. It's this universe. I didn't know that. We are canon in the 40K universe. No way. Okay, damn. Oh my god, that's crazy. Sci-fi. Oh my gosh, it's the Milky Way galaxy. I just assumed that it was like some kind of fantasy realm, but that's crazy. When you said AD, I'm like, after the death of Christ. And I'm like, wait, Christ? Jesus? I'm actually gonna, let me really quickly, it's gonna flicker, sorry. I'm gonna, filters. I'm going to remove the crop pad here because it's ticking me off. And then I'm gonna, yeah, we're just gonna have to watch it like that. It's gonna flicker again.
An AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods.
How did they forget science? You're in the future, you idiot. You're supposed to have more of it. Are you dumb? Letting the Emperor die would have solved almost all of mankind's problems. So I know that the Emperor, I know this, but I don't know this.
Cheered. X100. Welcome to Warhammer.
Thank you for the 100 bits. You'll find out there's a period that refer to the dark age of technology. But like, they have all these cool armor, so they at least have as much technology as we have now, but they must have gotten so far. Religion, isn't that a bitch? You're so real for that one. All right. What does Bricky have to say about the lack of technology? I get that it's carnage. I was understanding that it was a world of a lot of war, which war is fun. Theoretically. The rules must change when you have, you're fighting all these different factions. Tech Bros went too far. So real. Must pray and kneel before I start a shower.
Everything blows.
They have tech, they don't know how it works? Are they stupid? Google it.
And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction, or at least like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy.
I'm turning him down a little bit so he can hear me over.
Unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks, but that's like the charm of it. See, everything in Warhammer is
a little bit
evil.
charming.
But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are,
humans are evil. This is realism.
Flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool.
Drunken
they look cool. They got cool
Bigfoot,
outfits.
thank
They
you
got
for
cool
the
weapons.
prime.
They got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy.
Everyone's pretty cool.
So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the emperor of mankind, a 10-foot tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create.
All right. Was he in the Roman Empire, though?
Superhuman soldiers and really bring humanity to a new age. This man, the emperor of mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40K, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff. Like,
is the warp like a place, or is it like an everywhere? Like, is it a feeling? It's a yes. It's a parallel dimension. Okay, it's an everywhere, it's a vibe. This guy can bring the vibe then. Gotcha. It's like the Force. Oh, thank you.
Witchcraft stuff, magician stuff,
Psyker
spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and plans to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are...
Wait, I'm not following. Okay. The Warp, Psyker. Emperor, good Psyker, really strong. Made 20 sons. 18 in kit instead? Don't worry about it. Okay.
Basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself.
Okay, this is the Oedipus complex. This is Freud. That like half of people want to kill their fathers. Not gonna lie, I don't like the support in that. Okay, so we have a super strong demigod. Go to... That is not Oedipus. Yes, it is. I am reading Civilization and its discontents right now because I hate Freud and I love to see him be wrong. It's not? Yeah, it is. I mean, there's more to it, but that's definitely that's the cause.
Now, if you're wondering what chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier? The warp, that immaterium,
MF
the
and
hellish
Father Killer,
place.
yep.
In there,
But I don't even want to explain it.
lies the 4 chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans.
Oedipus did kill his mom, but the Oedipus complex refer to the other thing. So actually, the Oedipus complex refers to first and foremost wanting to kill your dad. The other thing is the popularized version of it, which everyone clung to because it was ridiculous. And the whole theory is ridiculous because Freud is a complete, idiot.
The warp being kind of evil, those chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The
Easy game. Guys, chat, we could almost do it. Okay, thoughts and opinions. So far, I'm actually a little confused. The 9 kids, we've heard a lot about Horus, which I wonder if there is any potential connection to Herodotus of Roman history. But so did the other 8 up and leave? Heredity. Let me in the call. I don't type it. Horus is an Egyptian god. I see. His historical reference is real. Other 9 stayed loyal. Okay. We have 9 fight, 9 stay loyal. What happened to the 9 that fight? Did they say that the 9 that were fighting died? So all 9 living good one live? All 9 bad boy die? Some died. Some. They're all kind of involved. You're fine. Oh, okay. He hasn't explained.
Astronomicon is like the North Star.
Okay.
If you want to do interstellar travel in 40K, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as...
So this is the nether. You can travel through it. The Astronomicon. Okay.
the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of...
Oh, that's why we're keeping him alive. This reminds me of, like, you know, that radiation incident that happened in Japan. Astronomicon is like a lighthouse. So he's conscious. He's just almost dead. Okay.
Wandering L3AF cheered.
Leaf, thank you for the bits.
18 legions, half stayed with Daddy and the other half went emo.
Okay.
Some died and some stayed alive to help either the Chaos Gods of the Imperium.
Oh, okay. Mostly dead. Okay, so some of them lived, some of them died. We have the Astronomicon, the almost dead Emperor who died almost fighting... Well, who almost died fighting Horus, is able to navigate them, and he's consciously doing that?
Of humanity. you're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic Gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40K. There is no...
Okay, so if you don't worship the God Emperor and sacrifice your psychic, your people, who, then you're a heretic. It's bad. Okay, so we sacrifice people. If you don't worship, if you're not one of the living people who worships him, then you're bad. You get splatooned. Gotcha. Like Europe in the past. Spanish Inquisition? Let me open this door. It's hot in here. It's not really hot, but I'm drinking wine. That'll do it.
No such thing as freedom of religion. There's no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Okay, so we have humanity on Earth, big guy, super strong, makes children. They beat the shit out of him, but he's actually needed.
X100.
And then he dies, but he doesn't die. He's alive, and they sacrifice people, and it becomes a huge religious thing. Think North Korea if you say anything about a Green Lord leader, you die. Gotcha. So it's an extreme religious ethno state? Because I mean, like, I don't see any black people or Asian people. This looks like all white people. This also sounds like white people. Sigmar, thank you for the prime. Is it like all of humanity, or is this just white people? It's not. Oh, okay. They're in here. Okay. It's all of humanity. Okay. So in this faction, there's like all sorts of, everyone's racist and against the non-religious people. Actually, legions based of other human ethnicities. Okay. Spacist. So we're just against anyone from space and also heretics. All right. I get to participate in space racism. Racist or not, are racist against non-religious. What is that called? Thea something. Fantasy racism. They sing savages against other species. Important for distinction. Gotcha. So, although we are extremely against different species and heretics, we're all high-fiving in here. There's no racism here. I don't know, guys. At least we got bad. There's something good here.
Shit now, man.
Look on the right side.
Game over,
Technically.
The Imperial Guard is the
You win
main
some, you lose
fighting
some.
force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking
your
through the
mutant.
fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble
What?
las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It
Las
fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40K universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women. 30,000
Humans are ants, basically, is what I'm understanding.
large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers
Troops is
and
bugs.
firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks
wave
block out
tactics.
the dirt with
Actual
the steps
ants.
and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through
Millions?
numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium
Millions?
and make up a huge bulk of the battles.
CJ cheered. X1500. The humble Laskin killed 99% of life in the galaxy.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, Guardsman, you're fighting the remaining 1%. Glory to
Really?
the first
That's a lot of fucking people. So I guess in antiquity, it was actually powerful. But now we're talking, you know, in modern day, it's not so good. So I'm okay. In a famous passage, Polybius surveyed Roman military manpower about 225 BC. A grand total of soldiers at Rome's immediate disposal was over 116,000. And Rome's, essentially, their entire tactic was flood. For at least the First Punic and the Second Punic War, was that they had loyal soldiers and way too many. So these people are fighting with like millions and millions, but
The Imperial Guard is also made
it's so interesting.
up of tons of different kinds of regiments.
Flood from the Halo.
Catachan jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get.
Glad to see someone learning from the Brick Dude. This stuff is my favorite. Also, thank you so much for the bits, DJ. The humble last gun. I just am wondering, like, it was that in the galaxy?
Into. So they just have this
crazy.
steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the
Yo.
Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. The biggest export.
What happened to Cadia? Guys, Alola Nico. Thank you for the 19 months. Cadia fell before the guard did. What? Cadia, no! It exploded! They blew it up! There's no more Cadia! Cadia stands! Guys! Guys! I feel my chat's trauma right now. They blew it up? For what reason? When you say they, who's they? Cadia stands?
Cadia.
That standing? The warp? It looks pretty much like it's destroyed. Warp boys being chaotic. They throw a moon at it. Couldn't conquer it, so they slammed a space fortress into the planet. Holy crap! This is like Carthage when they lost the First Punic War. They're gonna... Let me guess, revenge? Crusade the 13th. So when you say a crusade... Is this a recount, a restart of a different series of crusades? Then, because I know it's the same timeline, same world. I think we've had like, what, 8 on Earth? So it's a restart. We're not taught where it's nowhere near, no link. Different crusades. Gotcha. But I thought a crusade was for the Holy Land. Let me close my
Wandering
door, it's cold again.
L3AF cheered. X100, Cadia, their homeworld, blew up from an all-out assault from Chaos forces and they threw a fortress the size of our moon to kill it.
Thank you, Leaf. Why would they do that? Isn't it better just abandon the I guess they have to do something. I have it on the leader of the Black Legion. 13 total Black Crusades to spread in power chaos in less 10,000. So, okay. So it is new Crusades. There's 13 of them. And I'm assuming they're of a different scale.
The biggest
Katie.
export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote,
No.
I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k.
That's
They're the
so
army I fight
sick.
the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the
Wandering
one I
L3AF
enjoy
cheered.
in the lore.
X100, Cadia is a fortress world that stood as the first and only major roadblock that Chaos Force have to go through to attack Imperium territory.
Oh, okay. So the Imperial Guard is like the the fighters protecting Imperium.
Lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man
And Cadians are crazy.
with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent
All right. Okay. Listen. If there was a person on Earth who allowed us to teleport through space and was almost dead but alive, I would become a religious fanatic. I would be crazy. Cadia was one of the last thing that had MacGuffin. Without the warp split in the galaxy, had to have empowering everything that had access to its sacrifice and worship was an acceptable loss. I see. I think all of us would be. That would be like such solid proof. Also, I don't know why every time I click onto this, I can't like scroll my chat without it going flickering. Very annoying. 75 straight to hell for intermediate time. Ah. What? Wait, the warp itself is only successful 75% of the time? There's no way. The teleports? Through the warp? He gets it wrong? My guy. What do you mean? I think you should watch Guilty Gear lore. I love lore. I remember the only other time, I don't really do a lot of React content because I think it's shit, quite frankly, but I'm enjoying this a lot. By the way, I feel bad for not having the video linked. This is exactly why I think it's shit. Because, like, I'm not giving Bricky his views. 10 million, by the way. There we go. But yeah. Damn, this is good.
The main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
The Angels of
The
Death?
Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's like
I was just about to ask that. Okay, so each Primarch has a different genetic line of Space Marines. So they're literally, basically the Emperor has sons in the Primarchs, but then the Primarchs have sons in their genetic relation to the Space Marines. 3 lungs? Dude, I want a 3rd lung. This morning I was like sitting there at work and I was like, I need to exercise more. My lungs hurt. Sons, yes. Sons, quote unquote, like children of them.
Gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines. Jagatai Khan has the
Girly Man? Phone number?
White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists. Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch.
There's no way that guy's name is Corvus Corax.
To other side.
The Alpha Legion, guys.
Sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit.
Give me a second. Hello? 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 This is a real person. Thank you. All right. I was hoping it's somebody who thought I'm Miguel, but it's sadly not. It's a robot.
Honestly enough, I don't have a whole lot to say.
I know. Okay, so the deep lore is that my phone number used to belong to somebody named Miguel. Every fucking day I get 2 calls for someone named Miguel.
Girly Man. Some say his real name is Rabute Gulliman, but those people lie. Also, I am Alfarius.
Okay, Jade Saturn, thank you so much. What do you mean you're Alfarius? What does that mean? Also, Robot Girly Man is one of my favorites. Yeah, so basically anytime I get a call and I'm thinking it might be somebody asking me to be Miguel and trying to scam me, I'll just put it on speaker. I'll be right back. Okay, let me just block that number so that they never call me again. Although I've heard that blocking doesn't do anything. All right, okay. Give me 1 second. Whoa. Give me a second. Okay, we're ready.
Say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way. The jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzz flies, buzz saws. with the speed of buzzsaws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love
Oh my god, I love this video!
fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nice
Pale King hate is always warranted. No Silk Song! Ah, ah, ah. No Silk Song news, guys! This video is beating the shit out of me.
nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic strength. However,
Splode rave, splode rave, splode rave.
Kuma Cola, thanks so much for the prime. I appreciate
the
it.
salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like
Shinobi 21 only cheered.
What is
X100. We got Sunny watching 40k lore before Silk Song.
Thank you. I thank you for the bits.
just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle. Black. Like they have a charcoal.
I've never been to White Castle. Is this real? Dark.
Ashy exterior and blazing red eyes.
So okay, this is the first time I've seen a black character in any of these images. 11:59.
Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but
Skin tone is described as onyx.
who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore.
I forgot there's games. He just said play as, and I got ripped out of like the fact that this isn't a book.
As opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius.
God damn, I was gonna say these guys are sick, but they're so flamboyant under that hat.
Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle
Vampire
theme.
Angels, oh.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once from the blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, Fancy Pantsy, Anti-Xenos.
Chat, are you heretics? Any heretics in chat? Just taking a peek here. Just a show of hands. Any heretics? Yes? No? Never? No? Oh, I didn't think so. No? Only a little? Yes, me? Me? Shinobi banned them all? Shinobi mods? What are you gonna do about it? Probably nothing. I'm a heretic. Heck the Imperium.
Those group that nobody plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars for the people who.
Can I have a bit of heresy as a treat? Yes, fine. As a little treat, guys, as a treat. You can have a little bit.
If you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure there's some other chapters.
Give me a second. I'm gonna go back a couple seconds.
I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff. But those are the main ones right here. Here. Quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard.
X100. You're one of those book reading folk. 40k release a LOT of books, like a lot.
Ooh.
Also Death to the Corpse Emperor.
Death to the Corpse Emperor! Heresy! I don't know any of the other factions, so I'm sticking with all that I know. Heresy! I didn't realize there was a board game. I thought it was a video game. I think there is a video game, but I think there's probably also a board game, and the pieces are sellable, and apparently these guys fuck. This is awesome. Okay, so God Emperors, sons of sons. And there's a lot of different types, one for each type of Emperor son, which I can't remember the name of. So what happened if, when fighting the Emperor, some of the Emperor sons died. So are these still existing? Primarchs. So if the Primarch died, do we still get more Space Marines? Yes. So what are we... Okay. They're just like... Some are dead. Okay. It's been a board game for like 30 years. Shit. But they're sad. No. The babies. They're sad. Their parent died. That's a whole other video. Okay. They're just limited edition. Wait. Okay. So there's less of the Space Marines from the Primarchs that have died, basically.
Macagish cheered. X100. They still have gene seed from the dead Primarchs. Also, after 10k years, some Primarchs have started to wake up and do stuff again.
Oh, that's nuts. Because I do know that, like, when you're certain... I remember someone telling me, if you're a certain amount of powerful in this universe, you don't just die. Like, you go into the warp. Like, you get spread across the warp, so you can actually come back. And so the Emperor dying might be a strategic move. Anyway.
As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for...
Midia_Donna cheered. X100. Gene seed is like an organ that is made in a vat based on the genes EOF a Primarch. You kinda graft the Primarch's genes into a living human using it.
Oh.
Dead
Primarch doesn't mean there's less gene seed. Okay. So it's like basically the gene seed is completely separate from the Primarch. So we can still make Space Marines.
Anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
Honda Civic? Boca, thank you so much for the tier 1. Guys, I didn't know the Honda Civic was that good. I've heard good things. AdMech. The Adeptus Mechanics. So it's like... This is where Victor went when they deleted him from League of Legends after Arcane. Makagish, thank you so much for the tier 1. I hope I said your name right. 2006 Honda Civic. All right. This is very Victor core. There's always some kind of metal meets man supremacists in these worlds.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology! The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually
So he said on Mars, which means the solar system itself still exists and hasn't been completely destroyed. So, but I do have questions about Earth because we haven't heard it yet.
Really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Bricky, that sounds like some heresy.
It sounds like heresy to me.
A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have, so you can't really tell them to fuck off?
Okay, I see. We have two completely separate factions, one of which extremist religious, Imperium. And then we have, I also just realized that this flickering, which just happened, might be because of my refresh rate. Because one monitor is 144 and the other is 60. But anyway, so we have, what is this called? Imperium. By the way, Imperium, in the context, in like current words, Imperium means right to declare war. As like an actual word. I know that from my reading. Oh my god. So we have Imperium, and then we have these robot guys, Adeptus Mechanicus. And the Adeptus Mechanicus, just, they can't say no. They can't destroy them because they're reliant on them. So we basically have... Tato, please let me have this. No, but so we basically have a forced alliance, one of these uneasy alliances. Ooh, okay. So they're making, but I must say, from what we have, the lasgun is underwhelming. So they're making these tanks, they're making these weapons, however, they're not excellent. So interesting. Mechanicus is a vassal state. Okay, so they're like if this is a republican government where there's a federal government and, well, I guess this isn't republican because there's an emperor. So it's an empire, and it's a federal empire. So they have vassal states. Do they pay tribute? Are they connected? So they're at the mercy of Imperium. Imperial, I don't even know how to say that. Every planet governs itself. Okay. Theocracy. Okay. Parliament, monarchy, theocracy. So, but my question here is, does Imperium, by the way, holy crap, thank you so much, Angry Chinchilla. I am so, my brain is like gearing so much. My question is, does Imperium have direct control over these Adeptus Mechanicus? Technology is in a weird quasi-religious state where the AdMech is the only one with the working knowledge of the tech, not even if it's treated like black magic. No, kind of? Okay. Not really. The Emperor made a treaty with them to work together. So that would be vassal state. If Adeptus Mechanicus was forced into a peace treaty against, okay, my headphones just disconnected. Shit. Was forced into a peace treaty. I'm gonna have to reconnect those. Then that would be a vassal state where Adeptus would be kind of at the will of Imperium. Essentially representative in the government of Imperium. Let me reconnect my Bluetooth headset. There we go. This is... Oh, I like this. Essentially representative, okay? Have their own planets and ships. Okay.
Because you're not going to win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go, ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop.
OBS gods. Homina, 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 homina. OBS gods, you must make my OBS stop crashing. Homina, homina, homina. Did I do it? I got it? Guys, am I a good Adeptus Mechanicus now? Pray harder. Ah. Homina, 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 homina. Okay. Rub some oil. I have no available oil. Like motor oil? Oh, my knees. Oh, my goddamn knees. Okay, up we go. My chair. Oh, my knees. All right. All right, all right.
If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah. This is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissiah Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death.
This is what Victor from Arcane was based on, and I had no idea. I've known about League of Legends for 15 years, and this is Victor from Arcane. I'm like, wow, this is like Victor from Arcane. And I'm like, wow, wait a second, this predates Victor. No spoilers. Are you fucking kidding me? You dick? Reboku, we're watching a lore video.
Flesh is weakness.
Oh, okay. No, for Arcane, okay, the game is like how he's all robot-y. He's not like that anymore.
This flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines.
So Victor in Arcane and Victor in League of Legends up to this point has been they're different, but they're destroying old Victor.
James Norland cheered. X100. Core
Oh,
is
yeah?
a great inventor. The only problem is inventing is forbidden in 40K.
Oh. Why? Scared, eh? Scared? Thank you, James.
And if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Skitarii. The Skitarii operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans, but if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need.
This is like my work. I'm not even gonna lie. We're so afraid that if we do anything, we'll break it forever. So this is like so. This is so real. There's so much reality reflected in here. I love it.
Need them, and then they corral it, and they go into battle.
Anyone can relate.
The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you
They corral them. They like catch the running. Oh my
want to talk
god.
about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
A simp has fallen for an eagle in Lego City.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium.
X100. The Mechanicus is deeply afraid of accidentally reinventing AI, and they think that everything worth knowing was discovered during the dark age of technology, so they just try to rediscover stuff and use.
Like they already know. Oh, thank you, Paratrooper. That makes sense. So, okay, AI bad. I agree. To be fair, like I so get you. AI sucks so bad. My chat GPT tells me the wrong shit all the time. Okay, so we're at women.
The ecclesiarchy. That's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta,
I fear that they are sexy, and I fear that that might be all it takes.
Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics, mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons: the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice.
Okay.
Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They're carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit.
That is morally questionable.
The Sisters of Battle might not be Sunny's Roman Empire, but they could be her Vi from Arcane from 40k.
I mean, I'm just saying, that one at the front line with that really thick armor, with the cool helmet, one leg in front of the other, I mean, I would kiss her.
They drop churches.
Warhammer 40k is morally questionable.
From low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles, and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome.
Holy fuck. Heretics, take this! There's a church at them.
They can literally stave
the one that Pat wants but will never have. This is so real.
Off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, oh, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor. Now,
Paratrooper Dylan cheered.
Thank you, Paratrooper.
Just to add to your potential thirst, Sisters of Battle don't take vows of chastity. They can even get married and have kids. They just typically don't because they don't have the...
Because they don't have the time and they don't always live long enough to have serious relationships. Hey, baby, I know that you're a religious fanatic. Have you ever tried praying at my altar? Hey, where are you going? No, don't run away. Thank you for the bits. You know, I want to make some churros. Oh my god. Damn, girl, you can drop you can drop that church on me anytime. Heart call, thank you for the 33 months.
Girls get it done. Warhammer, let's fucking go. Anyways, love you, Sunny Splode Loaf. You are the poggers and Gooby Goober. Shmeeby Shmeeb. Anyways, love you.
I'll take the Shmeeby Shmeeb. I feel like Shmeeb matches me somehow. I can think of somebody else who's more gooby, more goob, more on the goob side. 33 months. Thank you so much, Heart Call.
As much as a meme as they are, and as
I'm so sorry about
much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore. I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model, those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it, is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman...
All right, I'll join them. You literally don't have to say any more. No chastity swearing. Fight to the death in a battle for a cause that you believe in while dropping churches on people. I need purpose.
At heart, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking
you comb your hair
of burning demons,
I can see!
I can fight!
the Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's 1 Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are space...
I'm wondering if that's because psychers are rare, but they can't be because you sacrifice 1,000 every day.
X100. I don't
so they
think
just
he
must be really strong.
The best part of the Sisters of Battle is their origin. After the church had a group attempt to coup the imperial leadership, it was ruled that the church could raise no army of man.
Army of men. So the Space Pope just raised an army of women. Oh my god! That's what you get. That's what you get for using gendered language. You get an army of zealous space women claiming heresy at your doorstep. All right, it's time, guys. I'm not saying that I'm going to jump at any kind of purpose in life, but I guess I mean, I suppose that I will become a Sister of Battle. Thank you, Matt. Makagish. I keep saying your name differently each time. I will become... Stop phoneticizing the things I say.
Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming
Okay.
from the planet,
Kill
or
demons.
I guess the moon
Grey
of
guys.
Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown
Titan?
through extremely
Jupiter?
rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them, use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him.
Do not put the lick emote.
Consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only
They're like
issue is that
saints.
Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy.
This man keeps his sword unsucked. So, guys, what in tarnation? Guys. All right, so they're Puritans, fortified, kind of like raised from child age to be pure.
More ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights arrive
Not demons.
and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the
Oh my
tabletop, they're very
God.
strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard.
Okintot. Did I say your name right? Thank you so much for the Prime for 2 months. And thank you for the hydrate. I have finished my glass of wine. I will not be drinking another one. I don't have work tomorrow, but I don't want to be drunk.
Hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun though if you like that kind of fast striking kind of army. Oh, and also Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even gonna get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the male about his
We're not going to get into him, he says, before reading his excerpt.
fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you don't think they're holy enough, you want to be holier, Grey Knights.
So they're rarer than Space Marines. They're all extremely powerful psychers. So they just sound like broken, right? And they're religious fanatics. Master Calder Drago got cursed to roam the warp forever, said okay whatever, and started dunking on chaos in their turf. He got chaos so bothered demons tried to lift his there's no shot to lift his curse, so he just fucks off, but he refuses. He's dunking on chaos in the actual warp itself. Drago, not gonna lie, what's his name? Caldor Drago reminds me of Khal Drogo, the name itself. Doom guy. Rabbit dogs would also bite their supposed allies around them. There's not even most broken faction, the Imperium. There's dudes who are more hardcore than even this. Well, that's crazy.
Now, if you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh, Lord, he coming!
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a gigantic old-school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights,
Yay!
it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school, like, house feel to them. Like, literally, like, they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around, and they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot.
They're mechs, but they were a person.
To discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project too. Game over back down to Earth.
Ooh.
Let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold. If
Adeptus.
Guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super.
They are crew of there are a crew of people inside of them, with the one main person linked directly to the machine's spirit. They're a kind of coffin with a person almost dead, but unable to die because of said mech. Oh, so there's a guy who's like, it's like Jujutsu Kaisen. It's Mechamaru, but less lame and pathetic. Night pilots aren't tied in their mechs, they're just adamant. Okay, add mech titan precepts are. Which one was this? Imperial Knights.
James
Okay.
Norland cheered. X100.
Just piloted.
Imperial Knights also sadly often used to show how powerful or scary a threat is by getting wrecked almost every time they show up in any media.
Oh no, they're the, oh my god, these guys are so powerful. Remember the guys we told you were powerful, these Imperial Knights? Time to destroy a ton of them until the point where you're like, oh my god, the Imperial Knights are getting fucked up for the 80th time. Okay, so the Imperial Knights are piloted by people. However, there's a different type of mech, similar, that is soul piloted by someone who is linked to the machine.
Soldiers.
And now we're on Adeptus Custodes.
Grey Knights are super soldiers.
The pants, by the way.
The Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay? But that's all. I only have 3, okay?
Only 3.
They are our final
all
brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a space marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra, Terra themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room. And
all right, but do they need to poop? And also, do they drink water? And also, how is that possible? So the custodians, so they watch, so they just sit there, they're stronger. So riddle me this, Batman. Where were these guys when the Emperor was in a big fight with the guys? The Space Marines' dads. Kunitoro, thank you for the 18 months.
I forgot to do my sub alert. BCI was watching Warhammer 40k lore.
They were, oh, thank you so much, Kuni. I'm glad you remembered now. It'll distract you. They were busy fighting demons. Okay, they were fighting everything everywhere. They were fighting. So they also dying. So they were dying and fighting. Dying next to them. So they were helping the Emperor fight Emperor children. But they...
Splode sniffa mogum and sniffa.
Oh, thank you so much. Mogu. Make sure you guys are remaining subscribed to Mogu because I am. You want to do what I do, right? I love to see the Mogu emotes. Emperor had them with him. They felt huge guilt over letting him get killed. Yeah, because that's the only thing they're supposed to do, is keep him alive. So basically they failed to protect. That's what I was wondering. I was like, do they come after the Emperor? So the custodians, original protectors of the Emperor goes to fight, and they were not able to protect against Hero? They weren't able to protect the Emperor getting bitch clapped by Horus. So now they're just sitting there protecting the Emperor's almost dead body. What is Horus? I can't remember what his species is called, and there's no chapter in here to explain what his species is. A Primarch. Okay. Primarch. We've got, look at Sunny being sassy. Where's my chapter names? The baby was born with no legs, but we took it in. It's fairly happy. Primarch is technically still human. It's human mixed with the DNA of the Emperor. All right, I get it. Okay, so Primarch, Emperor Primarch, Space Marine. But more powerful than the Space Marine are these Grey Knights. Way more rare, raised on Jupiter. To be this holy group. We've got the Sisters of Battle, originated because they weren't allowed to raise an army of man, who are religious zealots. Adeptus Mechanicus, worship the robot. Then we have Imperial Knights, big robot, but no human being is tied to it. And then we have Custodians, who basically failed the king. Well, not the king, the Emperor. Same thing. And now they're guarding his dead body, but they're stronger than even the Space Marines. I'm seeing a lot of these guys, so I'm wondering how this happened. But they're definitely weaker than a Primarch, though. Stronger than a Space Marine, weaker than a Primarch? Grey Knights aren't specifically holy. They're anti-demon. Okay. Anti-demon Grey Knight guys. Who just have minds of steel. Okay.
And every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame.
James Norland cheered, X100. In the old law, they strip off their armor as a mark of shame for not being able to protect Big E, so you just have a throne room full of giant naked statues that will kill you the moment you move.
So you just have a throne room. In the old lore, there were just a whole bunch of naked guys, like ready to lunge if you went for the Emperor. This has been retconned. Guys, why did they retcon that? I can take there was a room. So you're telling me in the old lore, the Emperor sat in there, surrounded by potentially dozens of large naked men. You can't make minis of that. But you can. In fact, I'm 3D printers. I'm just saying, it sounds Roman to me. You can 3D print anything. You can sell anything. This isn't a kid's game. Give us the wieners. Like, naked stabby statues. They just sat there like, well. I'm continuing.
If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the
In a fight, right? I was waiting for you.
Aquilin Shield. The Aquilin Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5-foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something.
Oh my god. Anime protagonist moment. You're the chosen one. Holy crap.
Of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered, but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them. But that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all three of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this: patience is a weapon. The custodian.
Ooh, that's fucking sick. Holy shit. All right.
Are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp,
Solid_snake_drive cheered. X100.
Thank you for the
Space
bits.
Marines are soldiers who operate in military formations and have bonds of brotherhood with their fellow Marines. Custodians are warrior poets.
Oh, okay. Singular individuals who fight among other singular individuals. Difference between a pack of wolves versus a tiger. Okay. Okay, so definitely we got the custodians being few in number, but kind of an apex predator type, hard hitter, versus, you know, a wolf, strong, but really needs to be in a pack, drive people down. Okay, makes sense. But then we got these ladies.
These blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it, all of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with.
They're okay. There are also lady custodians. Okay, so I also feel uncomfortable around women. Oh, I feel uncomfortable around people when I'm not alone. So warp is the source of all emotion in 40k blanks. Suppressing any feeling is very unnerving. So warp is the source of all emotion. Blank suppressing any feeling. Warp is the source of all emotion. And the warp is everywhere. It's kind of like feeling just a wrongness with the blacking out of that. I guess. Is a brand new retcon. Oh. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll take it. You know, it like as much as people are like, "Oh, we don't need a girl in there." I like that shit. I'm like, oh, I can be strong. It's like literally that simple. The warp is everything inside of everyone except touching blanks. The warp can't touch those nerds. Gotcha.
Both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very
It's not pandering. If it's pandering to me, it's right. Sorry, I like me more than I like my opinion more than I like most other people's. So if it's something that makes me feel better, it's good. There you go.
unfortunate. I hope they'll get some like news soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore. But hopefully
Smoking like a Twitter user.
we'll get there soon. But if we're
Real.
talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
My precious ring gone forever.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy,
Officio Assassinorum.
these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these
Not mess
are
me
from
up.
the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the
Well, if you keep talking like that, I'm gonna call you out on being cring, and then I'm gonna ban you. Talk normal. I know you're putting. I know, cause I know you're putting that. You're typing that into some kind of like some kind of font changer online, and then you're copying and you're pasting it. Don't do that.
shit.
Fan service is cringe until it appeals to me that it's based. So real. No, he says doing it. Thank
What's
you.
it called? Scola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you
I missed that. I'm not gonna lie. I need to go back a little bit. I'm sorry.
got murdered by Scola Progenium from the shit. What was it called? Scola Progenium.
Okay,
It's basically
Scola
an
Progenium.
orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are
So okay, it's just the school kills you.
taken,
Gotcha.
however, you go to
Sometimes you
one of
just disappear.
4 temples, because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks. Poof!
He's down
The
there.
Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away. Temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot, time is done, packs them up. The Calidus temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up, just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed, or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. Lots of drawings. The Eversor temple.
That's the second character we've seen with like the interesting ponytail, though.
Just kind of disturbing one.
They're women because they take the transmorphic serum better than the men. Oh, okay.
The Eversor temple is about when you
Guys, the boobies are a tactical decision. Please be respectful. the reason that the ladies have the big jugs is because they need it in case they hit a wall. It'll tactically bounce them back off. Okay?
You don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze you. And then they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost, full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the
That's messed up. You're not allowed to do that. That's morally vague. I mean, not even vague, that's terrible. Batman, I was born in the darkness. Give me a second, I need chapstick. Let me just scoot my ass over. Retrieve the chapstick. And now I keep biting my lips. Welcome to 40K. I like it. Chapstick. As sort of abusers, they still have a nuke in their chest if they cease they fail. In case they fail, pull a jinx, if you will.
Most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They are described by the Eldar, by quote, as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no, the sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, that which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear. Now,
okay, so we have the blanks, but amplified. And when it's that strong, it's basically you walk up to them and they're like, please, it hurt. Reddit mods. They walk. They're so pure evil.
For the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are.
Except for Shinobi, who's my Discord mod. Join my Discord.
And they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific...
This seems like specific counterplay. Like, psychers are too strong and they needed something to balance it.
Thing you want to kill, and you get to choose which is really fun. But now let's talk about
You've been saying the Discord link is expired. Can you check the one below, like in my panels then? No, I don't have the time or patience, or I don't even know how to fix this. It's definitely not expired in the panels or any of the links
last
below.
Human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. And we have a lot to talk about with them.
Well, on the subject of heresy!
Oh boy.
The
Where do I even
Inquisition?
begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium. No, you know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing. The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their number one motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition.
Innocent until proven. I don't give a fuck. Pew.
Goes
That's
around
crazy shit.
like the secret police or like detectives to find
That the precedent is poor.
issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones.
Okay, if this guy shows up at my door, there's no secret. I'm just gonna assume I've done something. Oh no! Who is this guy? This guy a little secret police? I might think to myself, never. I'm gonna think I'm gonna die.
Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. Okay. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors.
Wow.
They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex.
When we say power, this confuses me. Do they have political power, as in like right to execute, which I feel like is not all that important anyway. I feel like you can just kill people in this world. Like right to life doesn't seem to be guaranteed. Or are they like physically above a space marine? Command planets to have? Nuke the... Okay, so they're strong. They're physically strong. Physically stronger than a space marine, but then they also basically their strength is in their political power. Legal authority. They're just humans. They're just... Okay, so they're not physically stronger. They're just... It's like an oligarchy. I guess it's like a... Well, they say it's an inquisition, but you have these 3 different types of inquisitor, and they're part of a religious faction. It's like a senate or an assembly. Do they vote? Do they say like, all of the inquisitors get together and we decide together? There's 3 branches. Can one veto the other? Or is one just like, I'm gonna nuke this planet, I'm gonna do it, and the other's like, sick, I can't do anything about that? All up to the individual Oh my god. Decentralized with factions. The actual Inquisition we had here on Earth. I know very little about the history of the Inquisition. There are conclaves around. So basically, each Inquisitor holds the power to destroy a planet. They're not physically strong, but they're kind of spies, like a secret intelligence. However, they don't look secret, but I suppose beyond the point. And then they have basically all of their power is political and their absolute authority. They have ranks within. There's technically Inquisitor oversight from the Inquisition itself. But for the most part, Inquisitors get to do what they want. So there is some kind of series of checks, perhaps, and balances. A start of 40k books follows an Inquisitor. Ah, maybe they're like intelligence, like the intelligence class. Cops investigating themselves. I think you were right in nuking that planet. Court adjourned.
And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus.
Okay.
Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now, it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus.
Kind of like Helldivers.
Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now, naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one.
Xenos. Or Xenos. Dude, the Roman Empire Fidus? Xenos? Tyrannic? There's literally... Or is it tyrannic? Like the Tyrian Sea? From the Empire of Tyr in South Africa on Earth? Xenos, like... the two most prominent, one of them, there's two different Xenoses, Greek philosophers. Fidus. What the fuck are their names? There's very similar to the Nuovo Homo New People branch in the Punic War. The consul. They're aliens.
But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an
I mean, I understand. English does have a prefix.
Option they have, and it's a crazy option when you think about it. Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs, and oh boy, we got a lot. I'll see you in part 2.
No,
one of the best.
Not Bricky 2. Bricky 1. You didn't link the specific video?
Hey all, this is part 2 in a 2-part.
Guys. In the description. Oh, is that what he said? I'm not gonna lie. I want to watch this right now, but I think I need to continue it next week after a just chatting stream just like this so that we can, so that I can be like, I can actually absorb the information, because otherwise I won't, because I'm getting a little eepy. I've been awake for a long time. No one reads the description. It's me. I complain when people don't read my descriptions. But then here I am. All right, guys. I'm going to do this. Show the tummy. All right. So basically, that shit's nuts. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm also going to enjoy trying to find parallels where they don't really exist. Oh my god, Hannibal, oh my god. Hope we have a good rest. I am certain I will. Let me, oh god, we're going to have to continue this next week. Or maybe this weekend? Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want to hold off, because that was, I mean, that was good. It was really good. That was some good stuff. So, I'm thinking we pick it up. We pick it up maybe this weekend, because I definitely need to stream this weekend. Why, you might be asking? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I don't have because I need to do some more sponsor shoutouts before I like I kept forgetting, so I need to do that. And it's, see, this is part of the reason why it's good for me to have sponsors, because they hold me to a schedule. I've got to do it, right? All right, so I think we're gonna raid maybe Joel. I think we're gonna raid Joel here. You know what? I've raided Joel before, but I haven't raided Junie, and I've been thinking about doing that. So let's raid Junie, okay? I basically just like her bugness. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was, I mean, so fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Bricky did a good job summarizing. I, you know, everyone said Bricky and I didn't know. Now I'm a knower. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. Wow. I'm just blown away. This was a great stream. I had so much fun. I'll see you guys later, okay? Go say hello to Junie. Let's, what should we do as a message? Katie stands. Gonna bug you for some loot. Shinobi, thank God you're here. Dear Arknight, thank you so much for the tier 1. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This weekend we'll do a second react. I'll see you guys, okay? All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. I had fun. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.